Hello. It's another stream. Another day, another stream. Welcome. If you're new, you're probably not here yet. But I am, so hello. And today, I think I want to work a little bit more on Gitstore again. If you're enjoying the Gitstore streams, yay, let me know. If not, tweet at me, assert Chris, to figure out a different topic or suggest other topics that you prefer. Okay. Well, let's get going. Oh, there's a fly around here. That's so annoying. Okay. So let me get things started up. We have an npm run watch. So this watches the front-end assets. 2. We have an artisan serve. This launches the PHP dev server. And a third tab for git changes. So everything's committed from yesterday. New window. Oof, that got bright. Very bright, very quick. Okay, so this is where we were yesterday. Most of the time we spent getting this responsive layout to work nicely to the point where we can pick a type and we can have these tabs split: settings, uploads, Bitbucket, and GitHub resources. And this will wrap. Yay, so it's still responsive. Fantastic. Okay, today I want to work on assigning GitHub repos, Bitbucket repos, and uploads to a plan, and show in here, maybe in here, maybe underneath, maybe on the right hand side, whatever, show the number of GitHub repos selected, Bitbucket repos selected, files uploaded. And if there's time, I want to move on to settings. I'm not doing this as a to-do list now because I don't feel like that today. Did I mention I'm not feeling great? I feel like I've got the flu or something, but I didn't want to not stream, so here we are. I think everything is... Can I just tap some more in here, irritating me? Yeah, I think everything is going correctly. What I don't have is VS Code. So let's open that up. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. I'm going to be switching these a lot. Maybe I want to make VS Code a little smaller so that I'm not constantly blinding you every time. Hey, I develop things. Cool. So the design of this version of Gitstore is actually based on Sean Riss's work, which looks like this. Let me show you. So it's V2 of this. Some new design he suggested yesterday, which I might continue with. But this is the gist of it. That yeah, right-hand column, left-hand column. Fine. That's not actually the design I'm working on right now, though. So I'm going to go to the one. I'm going to go to the one that I am working on, and then can look at design iteration after that. So this is what I'm working on at the moment. Okay, and we're getting there. We're sort of getting there. I feel we're making good progress on this. Okay, so assigning GitHub repos, Bitbucket repos, and uploads to a plan. As I discussed yesterday and last week, this used to be at a global level where you would select GitHub repos and Bitbucket repos and upload files, and then later on I wanted to assign these to a specific plan. Because of the mechanics of this design, I actually now want to have each type of sales page that you can do suggest some default plans, and then record what you configure as a patch on top of the default plan, so that you can switch page types to see if something works better, come back to a page type, and your patches are still applied. So you don't have to like re-upload files, reselect repos. Let's see if this click works. Should still work. I think it should still work. Okay. Bitbucket, The reason it's already connected with Bitbucket is because it tells from me connecting with GitHub, it logs me into the account that has GitHub associated with it, and it sees there already that there is a Bitbucket elevated token. If this was the first time here, Bitbucket wouldn't automatically be attached, but it is now. And I think what I discovered yesterday when I was clicking through this after the stream is that this doesn't work. Something's wrong with this. Unable to call method, no public method sync. I think what is happening there is I simplified some of these things, but I didn't make this public. This was a private method, which used to fetch both plans for both GitHub and Bitbucket. It's weird. I didn't even put the sync. I didn't even name this properly. So sync will fetch GitHub repos in this component, and it'll fetch Bitbucket repos in this component. So I think that should deal with that. If I click here, does it fetch them? Yes, it does. And then if I click here, it should show me the Bitbucket repos. Yay! Okay, so these are hard-coded. The auth is not. The auth is legit Laravel Socialite auth. But these repo lists are hard-coded for now because I have the GraphQL stuff for GitHub done. I don't have that for Bitbucket done, and I just wanted to sort the mechanics of this out first. The most important thing from the sync process is that I have a repo name, because everything else can be derived from that. So what just happened now was when I clicked on the label, the label surrounds the text and the checkbox, so it's checking this, which sends a livewire event, which tells me the plan that this patch is for and the repo that was selected. And so that takes me to the show wizard component. So this has a on select GitHub repo. Yeah, Livewire is amazing. This has an on select GitHub repo method, which is what is being shown here. So now what we need to do is we need to get the patch that this is for, which we do by passing in the current plan. That generates that calls this get patch key, and get patch key just makes a string of the selected type and the current plan that's selected to work on as well. And then it says, get me all the patches that I have for this session. If I don't have one that matches this plan's key, make it with empty data and return that specific patch. This doesn't persist this though. This doesn't persist the patches, which I should do. So put patches like that. And I don't need to assign the results of that. This is useful because it will save this default into the session before the modifications even happen. Okay, we get the patch. If the value of this checkbox is checked, I have 0 API requests because of that. What do you mean? I don't know exactly what you mean. This is a request to the backend, by the way. When I check this, or when I uncheck it, this is a request to the backend. So this goes from the Livewire runtime to through an AJAX request to this method, and then this is just some convenience here to die and dump what I'm doing in this method in the front end. But it is definitely a request. It is definitely a request to the backend. It's a request that I'd be making if this was an AJAX interface anyway. So it's not more requests than I'd be making currently. But yeah. Okay. So if the checkbox is checked, then I want to store the repository data. Otherwise, I want to clear the repository data. Hey, Marinoid. Welcome to the stream. And then once I have either assigned the selected GitHub repository data or cleared it, I want to save that patch again. And I do that with the put patch for, which generates the patch key, which I need to pass in. That reminds me, I need to pass in the current plan to get the patch key. Whee! So get the key for this current plan. Let's do that. Get all the patches. Set the patches of this key. Yeah, and then write the patches again. So After this get patch 4, I should have an empty patch if one doesn't exist. And then after put patch 4, that should be populated with the patch data. All of this confusing nonsense is to say, and this should probably be a trait, all this confusing nonsense is to say, when I select a GitHub repository, I should now have this repository's information in the selected GitHub repositories session data. So just to helpfully show me this, I can see if I expand this debug info thing, the contrast might be a bit low, and I see it's behind the profile image. That kind of sucks. Okay, let me make a better plan with that then. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I want to make this a little bit more viewable without messing up the camera overlay. Maybe what I can do is in debug, instead of making this absolute, I can make this fixed, and instead of left, I can make this right, and the text can be white so that it sits over that blue background. Oh, that is not text white. Maybe this isn't being applied because it's the second text color class. There we go. Debug info. Okay, that's a little bit more visible. That's a little bit more visible. I should also make this button or this link white as well so that it's visible. Okay, so this debug info currently shows me what's in the session. I can flush it, so this will be empty. And then when I go to one of these things that has plans, I've selected that, so now I can see, okay, selected type is get subscribers. Currently editing plan, it selects the first plan to edit. Okay, first plan to edit. So this is the default plan for this workflow. I can show you what that looks like. If I go into Livewire workflows, get subscribers. Here I suggest some default plans. This is in addition to the base workflow plan, which is an upsell. So if I click next, my editing plan is still at monthly over here. If I go to add another option, we don't have this functionality yet, but here you can see currently editing patch, empty patch, currently editing plan, this add another option plan. So this is going to be like a feature mailing list, whatever, some HTML content in here, but these are the default plans that this workflow or this type of sales page suggests. So I can see here, currently editing plan yearly. Or I can go here, see it again, currently editing plan monthly. And then the patch is where I want to start to put this information. So let me connect with GitHub. Should bring me back because it's already authed. Sync, which takes a second, then loads that hard-coded list of repos. And then if I check this, I'm still DDing. That's embarrassing. Show wizard. Let's put that off. Oh, I could have actually just unchecked and rechecked, but anyway. So I've done that, but it hasn't done anything to the session. Embarrassing. Put patch 4. Current plan patch. This gets the patch key. This gets all the patches or an empty array. What does get patch 4 save this to? Wizard patches. Here I'm getting them. Here I'm putting them. Let me put this key at the top to be consistent. Weird. Okay, this should tell me how the patch changes when I do this. So I checked it now, so it's got one selected GitHub repository. Selected GitHub plans? What is that junk? I obviously had plans on my mind when I was doing that. And I need to flush the session because that faulty structure is actually saved in there. So that, GitHub, sync, and then select. So yeah, selected GitHub repositories. Now, was that the only problem for why it wasn't saving? Check that. No. Okay, what's going on down here where it renders this out? current patch is get current patch null. I don't, after I've called put patch 4, I don't save that to session. Maybe what I need to do is in put patch 4, yeah, I don't like this actually. I don't like this. What I should be doing is getting the current patch key and then getting the current patch for the key. So let's do it down here. I don't like having this extra current patch session variable here because it's just a duplication of states I already know about. So get the key for the current plan, which I do need to fetch from the session. And then the current patch is this get patch 4. Current for, actually I only need to pass in the current plan, right? Get patch 4 takes the current plan, so that key is actually handled inside there. So maybe I can put this underneath here. Current plan, current patch. Oh, yeah, like that. Maybe like that. Like that. Maybe. Maybe we should keep it separate. Okay. So now we're getting the patch in render, which is really good. So if I uncheck this, I should still have this key, but it should be null. Although it's not checked now. So now if I uncheck it, check should have been sent as empty to the server, and so this should just be null. Okay, very good. So I'm getting the current patch, which means inside the view for select GitHub repositories, I should be able to inspect the current patch. In customize plans, I pass the current patch to select Bitbucket repositories and select GitHub repositories and upload files. So in select GitHub repositories, I should be able to say if current patch, and I will not empty this, and I'll say ID, name, what does that look like? If you check it, name, and current patch name equals, and then this repository name. And if checked. Oh, no, that doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. Hold on. In array. Okay, selected GitHub repositories. This is actually what I need to do here. So in array, needle and then haystack. So, wow, super confusing. This is actually not very easy to see. I'm just going to do it like this for now. And I need to do another bracket on the end here. So if this repository name is in the array of current patch selected repositories, array keys. Array, no. Okay. Let me explain my reasoning before I do it and even know that it works. If current patch selected GitHub repositories is not empty, it means I have a default value in the current patch. The current patch is not null. So that's a guard against current patch being null when the session's just been flushed. Now, assuming I have an empty array here, I should be able to say not empty, that this, like that. So this might be null. If I've unchecked it, I'm setting that to null. But null returns true for empty. So if I say not empty, this thing, I will only get a truthy value in here if that's not null. If this is not defined, I won't get a truthy value in here, but I won't get an error either. So it's not the clearest what's going on here, but I think it works. So I can see this is selected now. If I unselect it, it's not selected, and this is not checked. So this actually creates the patch for the selected GitHub repo. Oof. Oof, 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 oof. Okay, so I don't like so much that I'm using empty here and the side effects of empty to avoid null coalescence. And I would maybe make a helper method here, or if this was a collection, a specialized collection that had a macro on it to say repository is in selected repository, something like that. That would be ideal because that'd be very clear what's going on. But functionally, this works. I can copy this over to Bitbucket repositories because it is almost identical in implementation. I do need to adjust the wizard component though to be very similar to the GitHub one. This can be collapsed, this can be collapsed. I never need to look at these things again because they're perfect and they will never fail. Or something. Okay, and I can copy this implementation. I actually prefer the idea of copy pasting here as opposed to abstracting this method even further because it's already convoluted. So yeah, I don't know. I would maybe revisit this later and look at abstracting it there. So we remember now which GitHub repositories are done. We can sync here, it'll take a second, and then my Bitbucket repositories are here. I can check this. It'll add this into the patch, selected Bitbucket repositories. Okay, so here's the super interesting thing. This is why I've done it this way. If I go here, these things are not selected. So it's definitely data assigned to the specific plan that's being done. But have a look here. Plans. Oh, I don't show the current plans. I removed that from the debugging info. But the plans change when you change this. If I go here, it's completely different plans. Currently editing patch null, right? None of the stuff is selected. These components are smart enough to remember what they've just synced, so I don't need to click sync on there again. But come to find, accept donations is not what you want. You can go back to get subscribers, and it will have remembered what you did. That's the point of the patch. That's working really nicely. I like that. Do you like? I like that. Whew. I wish there was a little bit of abstraction around how the patches are handled here, but I think they're fine for now. Yeah, I love it. I love it. It's like, okay. So let's look at uploads. This is another thing we have to abstract. I got an image for this, which is wallets made out of squirrels. I don't know if I'll ever show you that image. Oh, not a screenshot. No, that's not what I wanted. This thing here. Okay, so this is the image that I'm going to use. Whew. Okay, so image upload. This is happening in Show Wizard over here. So let me explain this process flow. Ooh, that is over my windows now. Let me explain this process flow. The customize plans component is a container component that shows this whole UI. On the left, it has a list of plans over here. Over here, it's got a list of plans. At the bottom, it's got those next and previous buttons over there. And then on the right-hand side, it's got a few child components for each of those kinds of interactions. There is the default text if you've selected the upsell plan. There is the tabs to figure out which child component to show. Then there is the GitHub repositories, Bitbucket repositories, uploads, and then a placeholder for settings. So you can change these things, and each of the tab contents you see here are different Livewire child components. Okay, where was I going with this? Now, uploads sits within this. It's included down at the bottom here, upload files. It is this upload files component here. So it has an endpoint that Livewire calls when a file is uploaded. That happens through a whole bunch of JavaScript. Not too much JavaScript, but a fair amount of JavaScript. Because I need to do a few things here, right? Livewire doesn't have a recommended way of doing file uploads, so people are it's a bit Wild West at the moment. And so what I've done is I've implemented that myself. I have a method here which will take in a file object, which happens through a boop 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 boop, a drop event. But I've got some drag, enter, drag, leave, drag over, and drop stuff. And so you'll see when I drag this over here, there's UI that's happening, right? Sorry about the kid noises in the background. People are playing outside. That's cool. So when I drop files on here, then I get the data transfer files, which is an array of files that are selected. So this actually handles multi-file dropping onto that area. For each one, I call this upload file function with the data transfer file object, which is like a bundle of meta info about the file that was dropped. Then that function just pushes file data into a queue for a very important reason. So this will take the file's name, some metadata about it, and the file object that I get from that event, which has its own like data and size stuff and whatever. And then I will update some status. So when someone drops a file on here, I did not code that thing for the eventuality of like not dropping the file in here. I need to, that seems like a bug. Okay, it's not storing that anywhere. Okay, so that file goes into a queue, and then I have an interval here which gets the next thing out of queue. If there's nothing, stop, like don't process the queue for this tick. For each file that I get the next file of, I set some metadata on it, and then I get the base64 content of that file. That happens up here. So open a file reader, deal with some promise stuff, and then read file as data URL, which gives me base64 data. That I put back onto the file, if I'm not mistaken. No, I don't even do that. I don't even do that. That's weird. Oh, that's correct. I emit on file upload, which this component catches. Sorry, it's been a while since I've been in this component. So I emit to this. So this event, this component's listening for this event, which I can emit from JavaScript. It gets the name, the type, the size, and the data. All of these things, let me close these and let me open up that include again. All of these things come from the file that I've created. It's just this meta array, but then once I've read it, I have access to these properties. Name, type, size. Where am I reading that again? Where am I reading that? Current.file, I get the data back. I don't think I have anywhere that's getting the type and the size. That's weird. I don't think I have type and size on this. I need to work that out. Anyway, I get back the file data. That's the important thing, right? From reading the file to base64. And then I emit this event to the server. That server does stuff with it. So currently it's getting a UUID, just reporting this stuff, not necessarily saving the file, because I'm just debugging this for now. In this method, I would save it to somewhere like S3 with this UUID, and then I pass the UUID to on uploaded file. That happens in show wizard on uploaded file. So that is this DD that you see here. I've dropped the file. The upload files component has, in theory, pulled its data out, saved that to S3, generated a UUID, returned that to an event that is emitted to the show wizard container component. And then that show wizard container component can put that in a patch, and when the whole thing, when you've said like confirm, make this thing, it can take that UUID of the file in the patch and it can assign it like in the database to something. And then I can just have a cleanup task that runs periodically on the server to find any images that aren't currently in a sales page and are like more than 7 days old, and just bin them. So someone's session lasts 7 days or whatever, or the files they've uploaded last 7 days or whatever, and then they get binned unless they're in a published sales page. All that is to say, there is a lot of crap going on with this file uploading thing, but it's working, except now I need to assign it to a patch. So JSON is lots and lots and lots of code, yeah. This is file, right? And then this is actually file data. I've been going through this process of like trying to rename things. This is file JSON, but file is fine. I've been going through this process of trying to rename things so that it's a little bit less cryptic what those things are. So current plan is actually an encoded string of current plan. Repository is an encoded string of that. And then checked is just a truthy or falsy value from Livewire. Similarly, file is encoded data that upload files sends. It encodes this array, and I get that through Livewire to show wizard. So that's what this file data is. If I upload a file, at this point I should have the UUID and the file name so that I can render this in the interface. So I don't need to do this as it was doing before to a global array. I need to do this as the patch. This kind of means I need the current plan, doesn't it? This was a change I wanted to make, if I remember correctly. In these views, for select Bitbucket repositories, I'm encoding the current plan. I don't need to do that. Neither do I for the GitHub events. And I reached this conclusion because I was trying to pass them through, but I have that current plan already. And it is this. It's already in the session. That's the session data is what's being used to show it in the view. I already have it. There we go. That's what it is. Now, what happens if this is null? I have no idea. I actually need an escape plan there. But for now, I'm going to assume it's not null. So, whew. Okay. So I just want to check that these still work. Like that. Oh, no. No. Oh, that's correct. That is correct. I don't have this attribute anymore. Uncheck. Undefined current plan. Woof. Woof. I don't know if that's gonna work. Uncheck. Let me uncheck them both. So now my patch should be null, null. Check this. I have my GitHub thing. Check this. I have my Bitbucket thing. Okay. So that patch, that current plan is already in the session. I don't need to pass it down through prop drilling to the child component and then back up in the event. I already have it. Makes this a little bit simpler. It also means that for file uploads, this is where this was coming from. I have the current plan. I don't need it in here. So I should be able to do all of this junk like that, and then uploaded files. Okay. Now, here is a thing. Here is a very thing. What happens when I do this? And this will be the... What is this again? UUID. This will be the UUID. I can use these by name because they are unique names to the platform. So that's fine. But this has to be UUID because the files might not have unique names, which is also fine. What happens when I upload now? I'm thinking specifically of what UI is shown in here and in here. Does it move from one to the next? Undefined variable checked. Okay, let's just say checked here and like null for now, or false, or true. Let's just do that for now. Because there is a UI thing I want to do here. Null, what? What? Okay. So that is in upload files, patch uploaded files. This is what it's having a problem with. Why is it having that problem though? Also, why is it I think I need to wire ignore this, because I don't want this element reloading when these files. Oh, gross! What is going on here? I think I need to flush my session. Flush the sesh, but it's very, very Cape Town speak, but whatever. Okay, after I've flushed the sesh, why is this giving me a problem now? It is because this. Ooh, ooh. Here we go. No, don't refresh this. What is this? What is this ignore thing then? This ignore directive. Docs. Oh. It's because I made this reactive. If I look in here, this didn't have the current. This didn't use the current patch as the key before, or the uploaded files as the key before. But now it is. What do we do about this? Because that queue. I don't actually think it's the biggest problem. I don't think it's the biggest problem. Oh, what did I just do? Never mind. I don't think. I just have to solve this issue. I don't think what I'm imagining is the biggest problem, but I want to see if I solve this issue, what happens with the UI. So go to uploaded files and dd out what is this? What is this file? Is this a thing? It does work! What? Okay. If loop, no. If empty file, endif. Oh, not endif. Okay, this is a temporary measure, but it works. It's a temporary measure, but it works. So uploaded files has the UUID, but that value is null, which is what I was getting from the error message. Why is that? Why is that file null? Get patch for current plan, uploaded files, file data UID. Is this checked is true? Checked is true, so it should be getting the file data, right? Let's flash it and have a look again. Uploads. UID null. Huh. Ooh, dump debugging the best. Nothing. Nothing there. Sis. Yeah, okay, so this is false. Checked is false. On uploaded file, that is this event here. Upload files emits that as encoded. So I have no way of saying here whether this is checked or not. That's super weird. So I do want this check thing to be in here, but I don't think I need it for this method specifically. You see, what I want to allow is a way to upload files and then to select if that file applies to this patch, because have someone upload a file that is used by multiple patches. I don't want them to upload every single time they need to associate that file. What if it's like a huge file? I'd like it for it to be upload the file once and then be able to enable it for other patches as well. But I don't think I need to do that here. What I can simply do is assign this to the patch and work out the checking, unchecking system later. So, drop that file, moves it over here. Very cool. Very cool. What happens if you drag multiple files? This, oh, it remembers there. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, what if you drag multiple files? Now, because of the queue on the client side, this should process them all at one on one. But once a file is uploaded, it's going to emit events, and the reactivity of the child is going to remove them from this bottom area. So, drop. Where are the other files? See, this is what I was worried about. This is what I was worried about. So there are all those files, but I think the event gets nuked because the element on which it applies gets removed from the DOM. So I do think I need to try and get this thing to ignore updates to at least the div at the bottom. So let's do wire ignore on this bottom div. Let's see if we can do that. So this is the element that has it. The top one can update, that's fine, but the bottom one I think should stay there. No, but that didn't do it. I don't want to remove current patch from this though, do I? What happens if I remove the current patch from here? It's not going to be reactive, which is fine. It's also not going to show uploaded files though, is it? Not on the refresh. What if we do this? Take this out here. Put this in here. Okay. Gross how this is going to look. It is really gross how this is going to look. No, I can't do it like this. I can't do it like this. I have to try and figure out a way to keep these files around so that they continue to upload, or not to update this component. But in order not to update this component, I need to not use the current patch in the key, and then I can't populate the uploader with files that are already uploaded. Okay, here's an idea. Ooh, uploaded files. This doesn't need to be like that. Yeah, no, I don't like this approach either. What I was going to say is, when this is mounted, get all of the files that are uploaded for this, empty the queue on the client side when files have been dropped, and then emit an event that fetches a new batch of files that apply to this patch. And that's okay. That stops the refresh in the middle of the queue, but it means that I need to manage that state, the list of currently uploaded files for the patch, in the wizard container, not in here. Because what I pass to this component as the key needs to not change until the queue is empty. And that is state I don't want to manage there. So what do I do? What do I do? Do I batch the file uploads? No, because then you have to wait for all the files to upload to see any progress. The key is getting rid of the key. But if you get rid of the key, you don't see what files are already uploaded. That's interesting. It is interesting, isn't it? I kind of feel like we're gonna have to do this though. Bugger. Gross code. That's not gonna work. Or an empty array. Current patch uploaded files. I know these aren't alphabetical, but I derive patch from plan, so whatever. Okay, get the uploaded files for this. Use this as the key. So this actually needs to set in session. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. This needs to set in session. It's kind of like when you mount. Yeah. It does. It does. Music makes it super intense. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this the moment the current patch is selected, which happens when you select a plan. So put let's save this patch out here. Patch is this. Patch for data. Why? Why is that there? Okay. So data is plan, actually. And this is plan. JSON. The plan data is fine. Patch comes from that. Plan data is the current plan. Patch is this. Uploaded files is this. Uploaded files. Okay, so when you select a plan, get the files that are currently available for the patch that is being selected. Hey, Simulated Greg, good to see you. Okay, so we need a new event here on cleared queue. On cleared queue. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Be right back. There we go. On cleared queue. So on cleared queue, we get this new batch again. Public function that, and we do exactly the same mess as this. So patch is this, is session get, session get, current patch. Ooh, let me rename this event. On cleared file upload queue. Thanks, Jason. Okay, so when you've cleared the upload queue, which I determine on the client side based on all the files that were dropped, right? When you've cleared this, then get the current patch and get its files. Save that in session. And so the current patch uploaded stuff will then update from this point on. Wow. Wow. Is that a thing or what? So I need to pass this down into customize plans. Whew. Customize plans. Okay, so we'll get a new variable for this because we do want current patch for GitHub and Bitbucket repos. That's fine. However, now we need to make this part of what makes this child responsive, which means in show wizard, no, not there, customize plans, we need to start saving this. Oh, this thing is going to get meaty. Okay, now the reason we have this in here is because now we can pass this down to upload files. Inside customize plans, upload files. So current plan won't change between file uploads. Shouldn't change between file uploads. If someone does, the upload will break, fine. But it should be a static list until we emit to on cleared file upload queue. Great. Okay. So now this shouldn't change. Oh, where is that? Show wizard. Show wizard. Where's the problem with this? I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem's in here somewhere. There it was. Trailing comma in function declaration. So semi. Okay, so what should happen now is this does not refresh until we emit that event. Okay, but where did the file go? What? Why is this different now? Why is this different now? Debug info. So we have all these files that are uploaded, right? That's in current patch. Current patch updates, which pushes the GitHub repos. So because that's part of the key, it's re-rendering the parent. Anyway. It shouldn't. MorphDOM shouldn't update this. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. 6 minutes, and I still have not cracked this uploads thing. What I think is happening now is that current patch is being changed, and so this customized plans livewire component is being squashed. And that sucks, because it's re-rendering upload files even though upload files is keyed in a way that shouldn't update. Down here, plan uploaded files. Like if I dd this, empty array. Oh, that broke. What? It still nukes it after the first file is done, starting next and unhandled. Because it's receiving a message for an event for an element that's not there anymore. Oh, this sucks. This sucks. The only way I can think of to get out of this pain is not to pass these as responsive keys. or to pass them as responsive keys, but then to fetch, yeah, just not to in Show Wizard, not to make them part of this key, to load them in customized plans. That seems like the only way to do this. Huh. Because this patch is changing, and that's refreshing this component, I feel, refreshing this component. So upload files is getting nuked even though it's not listening for that on the key. Or its key doesn't change, shouldn't change. That is super annoying. Super, super, super annoying. Okay, the alternative is I find a different way to render the UI for file uploads. That is the alternative there. So, drop them in. How is the script listening for this? Scripts. Document drop. Parent is get this uploaded drop. I don't know. I need to think more about this. For the moment, though, I want to get rid of this extra nonsense that I added that's obviously not going to help. So let me go here. Let me sort this mess out. This is happening in here. This. Customize plans also has it as well. And customize plans view gets it sent down like some kind of. Ooh. I'll just make this back to patch. I haven't figured out what the solution is to this. And then wizard also. Oh no, I removed it from wizard initially. So now this shouldn't be. Okay, so it's showing the files that are in the current patch, which is fine. If I drag one in, it immediately refreshes, no error, because there's only one. But if I drag two in, it refreshes after the first is done, before the second is done. There, I get that error, so it only adds one in here. So I need to think about that. There's some way that I can process the queue differently that shifts this file, or that doesn't try and emit events on a livewire component that no longer exists. I need to work that out. But I think that's all I'm going to get through to do today. I wanted to move on to settings if I got there, but I didn't even finish uploads. The cool thing is that these, all of these changes are in the patch. They are not in the plan itself, and I can still render. The plan here. So if I don't remember that I'm connected, that's. Oh wait, I would remember because it's in the session, right? But no selected Git repos, no selected Bitbucket repos. Now I have them there. I can refresh, and I still have that selection there. I still have my uploads. And if I go to a different plan, none of that stuff's there. If I pick a whole different thing, none of that stuff's there. But then I can go back, get subscribers, everything's there. So that was the plan. That's good. But I need to figure out what to do with uploads here. Long-term goal, or not long-term, I guess, in like an hour or two, is that I want to have checkboxes next to each. As you upload, those checkboxes are checked automatically. In a separate array on the patch, I can remember what files are checked or not checked. And so when you construct this at the end, it'll take everything in that checked array, get the UIDs there, compare it to the uploaded files, and associate those files in the database to this plan. But then I want to show the uploaded files. I should use a global array for uploaded files, I've just realized. Maybe that, or maybe just enumerate all the uploaded files in all the patches that I have. So show excuse me, show all the files that have been uploaded to all the patches in this session, but on other plans where they haven't been uploaded specifically, have those things unchecked. So you can go through and say, okay, well, I uploaded this in a different plan, maybe even in a different page type, but I want to associate this upload that I've done to this plan now. Maybe what we can do in a few minutes, because I want to feel a little bit more productive, is we can look at the Customize Plans view, and next to each plan, we can enumerate what things are assigned to each plan. Now, because of this, I'm actually going to have to change Show Wizard to fetch all plans. So not just the current plan. Oh, I'm already no, not all plans. Haha, not all plans. All patches as well. Plans, patches. Now again, if plans here was an eloquent collection, then I could get the relationship for the patch that applies to this eloquent model, and I wouldn't need to do what I'm about to have to do, which kinda sucks. What I'm about to have to do. Okay. What I'm about to have to do is this. Patch key 4 needs to now be in a helper. Oof, I don't need that. So it's like this. Current type, current plan. What? Why am I passing the plan in here at all? I don't need this plan. I get the current plan from the session. I get the selected type from the session. Whatever. Okay, so everywhere that I've done this, I can actually do it like that. And I can do that, which means I can delete this get patch key, because this is now a helper. Ooh, is this still working? Oh, broken. That was it. That's why I had that extra one there. Okay, so this looks like it's still remembering, which is good because it's getting the current patch when a plan selection changes. But I should include plan in here. I should include plan in here. Because I might not have I might be wanting to fetch the key for a plan that's not the current plan. So by default, get the patch key for the current plan. Okay, the reason I need this is because now I need to JSON encode. Oh, I hate this. I'm gonna have to abstract all of these things. I'm gonna have to abstract all these things. Okay, go back to wizard, go to everywhere that I'm calling this poorly named method. Patch key 4 gets me the key. In this helper get patch 4 get. Oh, I hate this. 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 I hate that I'm doing this specific approach to this, but anyway. Get patch key 4, get patch 4. Again, plan can be optional because otherwise it'll use the current plan, which is defined in get patch key 4. Gets all the patches, gets the default, saves that default, gets the specific patch, and then we need to do a third one, which is our put patch 4 method. And this takes this ugly mess. And again, optional patch key. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. But it means I can get rid of all of these things from here, which isn't the greatest, but anyway. Get rid of all of these things from here. So put patch 4. I don't need to remember the current plan, which means I don't even need this thing over here. I don't need to use the current plan there. So something like that, maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's not on this anymore. Again, same thing here. I don't need this. That can go away. That can go away. I don't need the default plan anymore. Oh, I have realized though that this needs a patch, right? Yeah, that needs a patch. Okay, and then we're here where I get the patch. I can do that. And you know what? I can actually abstract that logic in there as well. So inside here, I'll need to do this in both of these places, because if this is not so if I can't get the clan, so either one's not provided or there's no one in session, return null from this. In these I can say, okay, well, if there is no key for this, then I can't get or set anything, so return null from this point on. So I can just use this. I can just use this like this. Should be fine. Gross. Anyway, the reason I'm doing all of this is because I need to say JSON encode patch 4 plan. Undefined variable current plan, that is in the helpers here, and this is actually not current plan, it's just plan. Patch 4 undefined. What? Get patch 4. Terrible. Terrible. But you can see here, add another option, has no patch, data, you know, we're not going to distinguish between these things that aren't real plans or whatever. But yearly has no patch, and then this has a patch. Well, that's really weird. I'm doing this get patch 4 somewhere, aren't I? This get patch 4. Yeah. Again. There we go. So this shows us the patch data in here, and then we can use this to enumerate the Git repos. So here we can say if count I hate that that's there, but whatever. Patch. selected GitHub repositories. And then almost immediately echo this out, but with some iconography. Same here for Bitbucket. These can be inside this element. And similarly, uploaded files. Now I need to do a cross-check when these things are checkboxable. I need to do a cross-check of these. Or maybe I have uploaded files. So maybe I show uploaded files for all patches in that top box. And then exclude them if they're uploaded for this specific patch, and just automatically check them if they're uploaded for this specific patch. Something. I don't know. Whatever. Look, this is what I wanted to do. So uploads, there are 10 files uploaded. You can't see the 10th one over here. Okay, let me flush this quickly. Okay, so I should have nothing. Connect to GitHub, sync, check a repo. Like that. I'm going to say GitHub Bitbucket uploads. One GitHub. So yearly Bitbucket sync. Pick one and upload a file. Git patch 4 again. That's correct. I don't need to have this. I didn't do this change into this method. Okay. Upload. Current plan. What? No, man. There we go. One Bitbucket, one uploads. GitHub has one thing over here. If I select this, it'll do that. If I unselect this, it'll do nothing. What? So this is obviously very ugly. But remember, if I uncheck them, it doesn't remove the GitHub key from that array. It just sets its value to null. There we go. Okay, so look, much further tonight. The patches concept has legs. We're remembering the patch data per plan, which is cool. I have no way to uncheck images, and this UI needs rework to allow multiple uploads because of the refresh issue, which I need to think about, and then I need to move on to settings. But I'm happy with the progress that happened tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you for chatting so much. If you chatted in chat, I will be here tomorrow night if I'm not completely sick, which I feel like I might be getting. I'll be here tomorrow night. So I'd love for you to tune in then and see the finalization of this uploads checkbox nonsense thing. Yeah, so bye. I'm going to